Yeah. Oh, fuck. I'm bad on the spot. I'm Elise. Government name Elise Victoria Salvesvold Uhlar. Uhlar actually means coal miner in Czech. So if you need anyone to mine your coal, it's in my blood. I moved to the city like a year ago. I'm 19. I'm going to Prague soon, in the fall to specify. And I am a journalism major at Marymount Manhattan College. And I'm a photography minor. And I like to walk around a lot. I go on long walks and then I write. And I don't really do that much other stuff. I love New York. That was a weird thing to say at the end there. You can cut that out. I don't know. I was just like freestyling. That was off the dome, unfortunately. When I was in high school, I thought I was gonna go to UVM, and also for a little while I thought I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. And then I realized that I'm really stupid at math and I hate it. And so, that would have sucked, and I would have had to go to school for that for 8 years. And I realized, I guess my description of myself, that's like really hard. I think I think that my ego, like, was really, like, it exploded out of my head for a little while when I turned, like, 16, and then it shrunk down to a normal size by the time, like, now, like, I'm 19. Like, I've got, like, a decent head on my shoulders. And I used to also smoke a lot of weed, like, way too much of it. So, like, I thought I was, like, really cool because of that, and then I realized that wasn't that cool. And that's also why I wanted to go to UVM, but then I realized, what am I going to do other than make myself stupid and eat Takis and ski sometimes. So I guess I think that now I'm a person who has, like, a more solid game plan. Like, I've got my goals in place, I think, is the best way I could put it. Let me see. Turn these into shorts. Okay, I'm up in here. Hold on. Don't you be crazy. Come on. Jorts. Oh, I already know they're too long. Actually, I'll hit you back. What don't 19-year-olds do? They kind of do most of the stuff that, like, regular adults sort of do, but more frequently. I don't really go out to, like, dinner that much. I think that's one thing. Like, we don't really, like, go out to, like, have a meal a lot of the time because we are broke, usually. What else? I guess, yeah, that's kind of it. Make big purchases, like investments. Like, I don't really know that many 19-year-olds who have, like, stocks. I know a couple, but yeah, I guess just, like, make, like, big decisions beyond academics and, maybe studying abroad, which I'm doing. I think most 19-year-olds have a sort of, you get to a point where you're, like, at this weird balance between, like, totally stupid and planning for the future. So I think most of us just try to, find an equilibrium there. Usually, get drunk on the weekends, go to class during the week, and go to the park, sit around, and, run out of money frequently. And that would be my description. Okay, so update. I fucking hated everything about those jorts that I made. So now I'm wearing this. Today? I'm gonna wear these boots. Okay, so fun fact is that I'm out of paper towels, so I'm gonna use a piece of jort, a slice of jort remnant to wipe the counter in here. That was horrendous.
Okay. And also, we don't have kitchens at the Found Study building, so to wash the dishes in the bathroom sink too, which is fucking sick, I think. Also, the sink is fucked. The sink doesn't drain. So,
I left home because I got bored over there, and because I mean, I don't know, since I was a kid, I always had it, like, in the back of my mind, like, I kind of want to live in New York City. That actually took some convincing. My parents thought I was, you know, gonna get mugged or something, and they make me carry a taser everywhere I go. But yeah, I left home just because, like, I don't know, I feel like everybody does at some point, like, when you're 18, you know, the classic thing, like, just going to college, doing a new thing, getting more experience, and yeah, I liked the idea. I've always liked the idea of the city, and I'm from, you know, 2 hours away, so it wasn't really that big of a jump.
okay, so here's my struggle right now. I wanted to save money and not go to the Slate Cafe, so I made this sandwich around 10 a.m. this morning, and it's almost 2, and I'm still working on it. I am losing this battle, and my Adderall is, like, kicking in, so I might just have to throw in the towel here. That's the true reality of being 19 and in college, is that you try to make good decisions and they just turn into bad decisions. But everything is a learning curve. Tomorrow, I won't make this same sandwich. This is gross.
I don't actually know if I feel more like a kid or an adult. I think I feel like I'm right in between, which I kind of am. You know, legally I'm an adult, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I've never made a more significant purchase than a pair of Ed Hardy jeans, which were like $100 on eBay. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I feel more like an adult than a kid. Definitely. Because, you know, I'm treated more like an adult generally than a kid. But that also varies. Like, I could have been, you know, really immature at this point and feel like a full-blown child. But I think I definitely feel more like an adult. But also there's some stuff that I obviously don't know about that an adult would. On my birthday, I ran out of money. I went flat broke. So I was off to a little bit of a rickety start. That was the first time that I've ever, like, fully run out of money. I had stayed in the city for the summer. All my friends from college had gone home, and my roommate who was staying with me was in Florida. So I had a solo birthday, and yeah, I went to Sam Ash to get a keyboard for myself, because at that point I was like, I'm gonna make techno music. I still have a little bit of a pipe dream about being a DJ. But then, you know, from there it went up. You know, my mom gave me birthday money the next day. I got my keyboard. And yeah, I mean, I guess the only really bad thing is that, like, it's kind of that awkward age when you are an adult, but, like, the bouncer will still deny you at the door because you're not 21.
Okay, it's happy TGIF. This is my outfit of the night. Wearing this Hanes tank top. I don't know where these pants are from. I had to cut them to be short people length. This belt just appeared in my life. Oh, I got my earring stacks. Now I'm gonna go buy some beers at the store.
Friendship is definitely important to me. I don't know, I like being by myself to an extent, but sometimes, like, you know, you're by yourself for so long and you just get trapped in, like, this weird bubble. You start overthinking and, like, ruminating on shit, and then you're, like, saying out loud to yourself, like, shut up. And then it's like, okay, like, now I should go hang out with people. And so it's good to always have people that you can hit up and be like, hey, do you want to go do this? If you're just, you know, tweaking out by yourself. And also just to, like, get different perspectives on life. Like, there's always going to be something you're not seeing that a friend definitely will. Like, as soon as you hang out, like, one-on-one 3 or more times, I think that would probably be my my distinction between a friend and like, you know, a friend of a friend or an acquaintance. And also like cell phone numbers, like if you have their phone number too, then, you know, that's another one. Like you can have somebody's Instagram, but I don't think that really makes you friends. Like you got to be able to call them and be like, yo, what are you doing tonight? And then that's your friend. I don't know. I don't ever really look for anything in particular, like, because all of my friends are very different from one another and also from me. So I guess just people who like seem authentic and cool in their own way. Like they're not trying to like mimic something, or they're not trying to like, I don't know. I've run into a lot of people who like try to get you to like them by like mirroring your fucking personality, or, you know, whatever. Just people who are generally solid and the same person in every scenario, and who are, you know, usually down to do whatever weird shit I'd want to go do at a given time.
I can do this. Hi, Tabby, or well, I mean not Tabby specifically, but technically. I'm really fucking good at this.
Specifically, but not technically.
We're going to the Smoking Beer right now. I just wanted to film a clip of me. I just wanted to film a clip of me outside because I feel like it looks like I live inside of the. It looks like I what? What am I saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. No, I just wanted to film a clip of me outside because I feel like it looks like I don't go outside, but I do go outside. I went to the park today, and now I'm going to the Smoking Beer, and then after that I'm going to the Tribeca. And so that, I hope that works. I hope that adds to your documentary about 19-year-olds.
My parents treat me like an adult now, I would say. Definitely. Like we, you know, drink wine together when I come home. I feel like that's the official like marking point of that. Yeah, definitely like an adult. It makes me feel good. I think because when I was a kid, like I used to, you know, my parents were my biggest ops, I think, because I wanted to be an adult so bad, but I was making choices like I was a kid. And I think now, like, I make, you know, decisions like I'm an adult, and so that feels good. And it feels like I have a lot more, you know, freedom without somebody on my shoulder, like, hey, are you sure you want to cut all your hair off? That kind of thing, you know. When I was in high school, I think that my parents were a little worried I was just going to be like a deadbeat and a barista forever. But I think now they've realized that I actually am capable of, like, you know, taking action, and that I've got a better head on my shoulders than some might presume. I do dumb shit, but I think what they've realized is that I do actually learn from my mistakes, which I think was not as much of a common conception up until now. What makes a good parent? Open-minded person who also is willing to put their foot down. You know, if I had a kid one day and she wanted to wear a bikini top to the grocery store with me, I might say, don't do that, maybe. So we're going to the Market 32. But at the same time, it's like if she wants to go to the bar and do that, you know, her life, that's fine. Or, you know, dye, you know, if I've got a kid who wants to dye their hair blue, whatever. It's not going to affect me. But if I've got a kid who decides all of a sudden at 16 that they're going to, you know, try to enlist into the army, then I might give them the talk about the implications of that. But yeah, just a good balance between, like, knowing when something is a really terrible idea and being able to tell your kid, don't do that, even if they hate you. But also being open to their perspective on things, and even in those cases, like, hearing them out about it, and not just, like, slamming your foot down, like, you can't do that, that's the worst. Like, have a civil discussion and compromise, always. I don't think I was, like, a good kid, necessarily, but I guess just somebody who's willing to listen to their parents, which is no kid. So I don't think there's any, like, perfect child out there. And I think that if you are, and I think that if you try to be, you unfortunately do tend to miss out on a lot of, you know, lessons, if not experiences, that you could have had. Because everyone's going to defy their parents sometimes. And you're either going to learn something from it, or you're going to realize, oh, my parents weren't right. Because no one's ever right 100% of the time. So yeah, I don't think there really is a such thing as, like, something that makes a good child. How would I parent myself? Probably really similar to the way that my parents parented me. But, you know, I might have been a little bit more lenient with some stuff. Like, I think at one point I wanted to have pink hair. I probably would have let myself do that. But also at the same time, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it would be fried at this point if I had. But yeah, just a little bit more, I would be a little bit more open on the self-expression. But I mean, honestly, that's it. My parents did a good job. You know, they said no and yes in you know, 80%, I want to say, of the right places, which is better than most people could do.
This is Tony. Tony and I go way back. Tony knew me when I used to smoke cigarettes. Look at you, Tony. He's literally like the coolest guy around. Oh my god. Yo, let the people see you.
Who are my mentors? I think my first mentor was this dude, Rich Cram. He owns the Chatham Press, which is my local newspaper in my hometown. And I interned for him for a year when I was 14 to 15. So he was my first mentor. Like a lot of the English teachers I had in high school, honestly. It's one dude, Mr. Artist. He was dope. He wrote my recommendation letter to get me into this school. I think the best advice is probably from my mother, is that, you know, moderation is key in everything. The worst advice I've ever gotten is probably that your audience doesn't matter. Like, I'm not one to, like, bend, you know, myself or the person that I am based on, like, who I'm talking to. But I've met a lot of people who just don't, you know, there's occasions where you have to make a compromise. Like, if I go to a job interview, I'm not going to wear this. But I know people who would. And those people have told me, like, why do you care what your parents think? Why don't you have any tattoos? And it's because, you know, sometimes you do need to compromise. And sometimes you do need to change, not things about yourself innately, but just little things about the way that you're presenting at any given point based on your audience, because your audience matters. And people have told me that, you know, you should always just be fully authentic and, you know, fuck everyone else. But the truth is that everyone else kind of dictates where you're going to head in life. So you need to think about it. And you need to just, you know, yeah, present yourself for whoever you're presenting to. That obviously doesn't apply to friends, but, you know, anything that's a higher level than that, like your parents' friends, potential employers, it matters. So yeah, moderation, and, you know, you should be a little bit aware of how people are perceiving you versus not caring. Being 19 is really different everywhere. I think it's a very specific experience to be 19 in New York City. I think if I was, you know, somewhere in Maine, I would be drinking gallons of weird vodka mixed with Kool-Aid in the woods somewhere. But, you know, being in the city, I think that it kind of forces you to become more well-adjusted. So for most 19-year-olds, especially those living in a more rural setting or like a college town, I guess you could say, keep your perspective or keep your mind open and always be seeking to broaden your perspective on anything. And even if you don't think somebody's right, you should listen to them. And just don't be a dick. Like, I don't know, I think that there's a lot of, like, especially, like, at Marymount, honestly, I think people are really judgmental of one another, when the truth is, it's like, you might be judgmental of yourself and what you're doing a year from now. So, it's not that deep right now. Just figure your shit out and focus on yourself and be nice. And that's my take.
Hey, ooh, that was one way to open it. Right now my question of the night is whether or not people wear pimple patches at the club. And sometimes when you're 19, like, what the fuck am I even talking about? What was my idea here? Like, what was it? What point am I trying to make?